Welcome back to an otherwise quiet room. If you don't know me, I'm Mandy Connell, the host, and this is an audiovisual series where I interview and sing duets with different artists from around the world. This next episode is filmed live at Newstead Live Music Weekend in January 2019, and I absolutely love this festival, so I'm so pleased to bring you guys clips from it. If you love our series, please check us out at anotherwisequietroom.com.au. You can read chapters of the book. You can find us on our new podcasting medium. Just Google An Otherwise Quiet Room podcast. You'll get there. And if you love us, please hit subscribe on Instagram or on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the other side.
Even as I kiss you for the 1000th time, by that sullen side of the road, I see in your hands and I feel in your eyes that you don't believe what you're told. 'Cause some dreams will stay with you all through the day, some disappear when you wake. And it hurts to know that you never had a chance, but it's worse to find out it's the choices you made. And everything to some degree wash away as with the sea. So if you lose control, just like you weren't told, just know that same lie was sold to me. Say, still in your arms, there's some loneliness never ceases. And I ain't so heartless, so foolish or harsh to think that it's less for you than for me. Make this soul part of some social swill to fill us both up to the brim. Tactic implied to ensure the enjoyment, perfection perplexing, living from within. And everyone in some amount can drain so far as to run out. So if you lose your head, pull off all your beds, just know that I know what you're talking about.
So, welcome to An Otherwise Quiet Room, Alex Cameron.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you
Such
for asking to come.
I was keen. As soon as you mentioned it on stage, I was like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty fun concept. People have been really receiving it well, which is great. Of course, the previous seasons that have been published are all in businesses, so this is kind of an otherwise quiet beer garden.
Mm-hmm. We could advertise the
the Newstead. Is it just the Crown Hotel Newstead?
The Crown Hotel Newstead. We are located at the Crown Hotel in Newstead.
Right next to the barbecue. Doesn't look like it's seen much action recently, though.
It looks like a lonely barbecue.
Yeah.
It's an otherwise quiet barbecue.
Yeah. The last 40 years or so.
Or it's an actually quiet barbecue.
Yeah. With a plant on it. Just to solidify the fact that no one should use it.
I have a lot of great memories in this beer garden.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been to Newstead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the only thing I knew about this festival was that the May's dad runs it. I don't even know. Is that true?
James Rigby.
James Rigby.
Yep.
Well,
and of course, the Mays are Maggie and Elsie Rigby.
Yeah. I'm very much in love with both of them.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
Yeah, I know. I said that to Rowie at one point. I was like, oh, I had a dream about Elsie Rigby, and she's like, yeah, get in line, mate.
Yeah. Of course, that's Rowena Wise.
Yeah.
Who has been a guest on an Otherwise Quiet Room.
Yeah.
To my utter delight.
She is delightful.
Yes, she is very delightful. And did you say that the song you're going to play for us reminds you of Rowie?
Oh, the second song. Well, I remember I wrote it in a time when I was hanging out with Rowie and we were playing songs for each other every now and again. I was in a position where I was like, whenever I had a new song, I was like, if I wasn't showing it to someone in the Northern Folk, I'd rush and show it to Rowie at a house in Brunswick. And this song, yes, quite shamelessly has, I think, the first three chords and maybe even the little hammer-ons and stuff are pretty much entirely ripped off from
Counting Coulds,
which is one of the songs she played.
I gotta tell you, I don't hear that. I don't hear it the same way. I think you guys have very different styles. Yeah. So I think that you definitely get away with that.
I think it's just a DAE.
Well,
and so, like, who owns that? Nobody.
Nobody owns DA&E.
Exactly.
Especially not Universal Records or whoever might try and sue anyone for that.
Yes.
It's just silly. Yeah. Silliness. Music is for sharing.
Exactly. And I think if Rowie tried to sue me, that would really put a thorn in the side of our friendship.
Yeah, it might. Just take note, Rowena. It's not to be done.
Please.
Yeah. But you, of course, are famously part of the Northern Folk who are playing at Newstead Live this year.
Yeah. It's good fun being part of the Northern Folk. One of the best things about the Northern Folk is that when no matter where you are and how many people are watching your show, there's always 9 other people in your band that you can hang out with and have a good time with.
I was going to ask you about the trials and tribulations of touring in a 10-piece band, because it must be amazingly intimate and loving and amazing and sharing and caring and also fraught and tense. And
it is fraught and tense, and I think that so many of the things that make it tense are things that are just like either beyond your control or just things that are purely just more difficult because you've got so many people.
Yeah. Everyone's human.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like that's the thing is that it's not that any one person, say that you're running late for something. It's not because any one person was lagging. It's because everyone was just sort of running late together. So there's no point in getting frustrated at anyone.
Or there were roadworks.
Yeah, there were roadworks. Or we are actually on the way back from Woodford this time around. We blew out a tyre going 110 down the Pacific Highway and all thought we were going to die. And James quite skillfully just like veered slowly into the emergency lane and then
James.
Ren changed the tyre. So we all kind of all of the men in the band like stood around and just like, oh yeah, just loosen that one and make sure you do it opposite. Yeah, that's a tyre. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. Yeah. I like it. But of course you I've seen you in action over a few years now. And you guys obviously have fantastic communication skills that you work on together. Yeah,
and it helps that we're all independently run. Everything that we do is managed pretty much entirely by Cale, our alto sax player. And he is an amazing organizer, and he's very diplomatic as well, which helps. So pretty much, there's a lot of Facebook, obviously. You communicate on there because you can't all be in the same room all the time. And there's a lot of stuff that, somewhat frustratingly, but also unavoidable, that you miss out on because someone's not available or, you might be working towards this thing and then for whatever reason it just falls apart. And you kind of just have to learn to take that in your stride and not worry too much about, you can't do everything.
No.
And missed opportunities they're not deadly, they just happen and then you get another opportunity as long as you keep working at it.
I think you're all, I
sort of had small amounts of conversations with all of you from time to time, all of the Northern folk. And the thing that I get from all of you is that you have really great attitudes towards the music. And I guess that must be a thing that that is attractive for you to be in the band, is that you get to come to places like this, which is full of supportive volunteers and people with the right attitude. Yeah,
definitely. And I think that the one thing that maybe does keep us together more than anything else is the fact that when we get on stage, it is always fun. You know, even if you've had like a bad night, the night before, you haven't got much sleep, or you've been sort of having a squabble with somebody, when you get on stage, you sort of just forget about that and you just play. And then pretty much whenever we come off stage, you sort of just go, yeah, that was good, you know, and we're all sort of bonded by that experience, even if you've done a terrible gig, you know, which thankfully we do fewer of those now, hopefully. But, you know, you still kind of get bonded by the fact that like, oh yeah, that was pretty bad. Yep, it was. Well, we all know that. And we all were in it together, and we'll all just work to make sure that doesn't happen again. But I think that it was, I can't remember who it said, but I saw a comedian at one point getting interviewed, and he said, the thing about getting better at your craft is it's not that your best gets better, it's that the distance between your best and your worst is smaller. And so I think that if what we're aiming to do now is just have like, you know, fewer of those shows where you're just like, oh, that wasn't as good as it could have been. And I think we are, so we're heading in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, hopefully there's always places to improve, otherwise you get
absolutely
bored.
Yeah,
I imagine that probably informs some of the decisions you're making now with your solo project.
Definitely, yeah.
Now, so tell me about the name that you are going to be playing under.
It's going to be under Well Into Winter, and I was thinking about it.
Very Melbourne name.
It's a very Melbourne name. It's a very sort of like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, it's kind of a sort of vague indie pop name that I don't know how sold I am on it. But at the same time, I was thinking about it and going like, what do band names mean? What are all the bands that I like, or the band names that I like, what do they mean? Do they inform the music? And it's like, not necessarily. And I think that...
I was in a band called the Stray Hens, and you would think that would be old time and sort of Cajun or bluegrass, but
no,
we were folk. And,
I think to me the best, I just like the way it kind of rolls out of your mouth, like Well Into Winter.
I love it.
I think that for me, I made the decision that was like the band name doesn't have to mean something, it just needs to sound nice.
Like City and Colour.
Yeah, City and Colours is a lovely name. But I don't know, I came up with it many, many years ago, and I've sort of just been putting out like bedroom demos and stuff like that under that name, and not really been able to think of anything better.
So the song that you're going to play for us is quite slow and calm, but you say that's maybe the slowest and calmest of the ones that you're preparing for Well Into Winter.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That song, I think, well, like I was saying to you earlier, my granddad had a country music record label in Dubbo. He's got his hands in the hands of fame up at Tamworth. And I think that whilst I've never been the biggest fan of country music, I think the fact that I sort of listened to a lot of it growing up through my granddad and my dad has somehow sort of just wormed its way into my subconscious. And I think Paul as well, lead singer of the Northern Folk, listens to a lot of country and a lot of Americana, and sort of, because we often like are writing sort of, you know, simultaneously, the country influence kind of works its way in somehow. And so I think that when I was writing this song, I wanted it to be as sort of open and as bare as possible, and that slow, just sort of country, you know, 1, 2, 3 sort of just felt like the most appropriate thing.
Yeah, right.
But as a song, I guess it's sort of about people in my life, and I guess I could sort of say it's about myself as well, but it's about a lot of people that I see who you just appear to be too afraid to do what it is that they could probably do, and I was discussing it with Paul last night, and I was like, well, what is this song about? And I think it's about when someone's already made that decision to kind of to not try to be that thing, it's sort of and they've already kind of felt the weight of that decision come down upon them.
I think there's a line in there about when fear turns to shame.
Yeah.
Turns you. I really resonate with that, because sometimes I find myself, if I'm considering a big project, feeling ashamed before I've even tried.
Yeah, like who could possibly want to hear this or to watch this?
I should be ashamed for even aspiring to try and do this, which is silly, because then you watch all these amazing artists and you see them kind of going through their own self-recriminations about a set that they've done that's just blown your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody ever really knows how much they affect you, I think.
Gentle hearts, a few and far between. And careful words can bring you to your knees. The time we shared seems barely there. It stutters like a ruined lights, and the owl may come. You turn to run or draw the strength to stand and show your face. And gentle hearts, a few and far between. I only harbor hope that I believe in. And careful words are all that you may need. When gentle hearts can bring you to your knees.
Lovely.
I love coming to these festivals because you see so many artists who are not famous in the traditional sense. They might have a great following in the folk community, but they're not famous, but they're still doing it, and they're still able to do it, and they're still affecting a lot of people. You know, my favourite is when you see Scott Cook come to Australia, where Australians love him, and he just comes every year because it's just easy for him because everyone loves him. But yeah, he was a man who was teaching, and you know, at age 30, I think he just packed up and became a folk singer, and he's just making it work. And he's not famous, but he makes it work, and he is doing what he needs to do. And that's really inspiring, because I think a lot of people my age probably think that, if you haven't got there by 28 or whatever arbitrary age, if you haven't made it yet, probably time to kind of kick back and take a teaching job. Not that I would love to be a teacher, I think, but you know, I think that success probably needs a number of metrics, not just the single sort of traditional.
Yeah, I think there's a number of ways to define success, and I think for me, it's coming to a festival like this and realising that all these people have shown up to see my set at this festival, and then I feel really this is why I do this, and but that's what I love about Newstead and the whole central Victorian folk scene.
Yeah,
I think
of
it's
which
really
there's
strong.
plenty, like, you know, I mean, because...
How are you finding Newstead, though? I hear that you have had a warm welcome with the northern folk.
Yeah, definitely.
You've been put up by the community.
Yeah, we got put up by Pete, just a little bit out of town, and he's been lovely. I think he said he could take 7, and he got 11 on the first night. So and he just took it in his stride. and was like, yeah, go for it. Just put your beds down in the shed.
So you're staying in a shed?
Yeah, it's a hell of a shed though. It's full of whiskey, full to the brim
of his
homemade whiskey.
I feel so. I'm sorry for you.
Yeah, it's been tough.
So you're staying in a still.
You're staying in a still, pretty much. But it's a beautiful still, and there's corellas, just swarms of corellas that wake you up in the morning. And when you first wake up, you have that start of like, oh, shut up. But then as soon as you realise how beautiful it is, you just go, oh, okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Newstead's been great for us. We are never sure what our crowd is going to be like when we go to a new festival, and we're always pleasantly surprised by the fact that people turn up and watch and have an input as well. You know, they come up to you after and say, oh, I like this, or I like this, and it's gratifying. It's really lovely to be able to get that everywhere we go.
Have you got any highlights from the festival, a favourite moment or a thing about it?
I loved Karen Fields last night. I think I've seen her before on her own, and when she's flanked by Sam Lowe's and Rosie Burgess, they're just such clowns. They're just so entertaining to watch.
And brilliant musicians.
As well. So I really loved Karen, and your set, obviously.
Ah, well.
And who else? Hello Tut Tut.
Oh, they're brilliant.
Yeah, I need to go and ask that clarinet player about his microphone, actually.
You do?
Yeah, because I have this one where it's kind of like one of these where you just sit, I have to stand there and play into it, whereas he has so much freedom because it's in his barrel.
Oh.
So he gets to move around, and he's brilliant as well. He's like a phenomenal clarinet player. But I'd never seen them before, and then Paul and a couple of those guys were like, oh, come down, you got to watch this band.
Hello Tut Tut, they're definitely the thing.
Yeah.
They've been smashing it, I think. They're the next new favourite dance craze.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Well, I was just thinking, like, this would be an amazing wedding band. Just like, I mean, maybe I need to marry a Jewish girl or something and get the klezmer, but just for dancing, purely for high octane, really intense dancing, you can't go past them. Excellent. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining an Otherwise Quiet Room and playing music for us.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to An Otherwise Quiet Room. I hope you've enjoyed these episodes, and if you have, please go to our website at otherwisequietroom.com.au, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, or subscribe to our podcast. Just Google An Otherwise Quiet Room podcast, you'll get there. Thanks so much, and I can't wait to bring you the next one.